Hey everyone, this is Georgiana Smith, the founder of selfglobal.org. I wanted to first start off by formally thanking everyone for calls, texts, messages, whatever you have done to reach out to me during this time of grief after losing my mom. I wanted to just say a special thank you to everyone, each and everyone, for all you have done and all that you continuing to do. So as you know, my mom, or if you didn't know, my mom started her battle with breast cancer in 2019. She had a breast removed, she went through chemo, she went through several other treatments, and everything came to a cease. In 2025, I got a call stating that the cancer had came back and it took a turn for the worse. They stated that they were going to start treatment for my mom, but they could not give any guarantees with how bad it had gotten and also her age. My husband and I went down and began to do a cleaning of her home to kind of declutter and kind of get her started with the process of possibly leaving her house. In about a couple of months' time went by, we went back again to visit her during Thanksgiving of 2025, and I noticed that my mom had lost a tremendous amount of weight. Speaking to her on the phone, she sounded like herself. Everything sounded the same. She still had that powerful voice, but seeing her let me know that things had been changing with her. She had been declining. She hadn't been eating as much. She hadn't been able to do as much as she used to could do. Her birthday came around, and that was in February, and I went down again to see her. I decided to put a camera in because I just still wasn't feeling comfortable with what I was seeing. Speaking to the doctors and them telling me she was compliant to some treatment, but some treatment she wasn't being compliant to. But speaking with the doctors, they kept letting me know that, there was really not much they can do. The treatment would kind of help her with pain, but the cancer had spread it and it was too far gone. So after putting the cameras in and watching her for about 3 nights after coming back home, one particular night, I got up about 3 o'clock in the morning and I looked at the camera, and what I saw, I can't really explain, but it was a sense of, she just looked really lonely. I couldn't see sickness, but I saw loneliness. After seeing the loneliness, I decided the very next day that I had to do something. For some time now, my husband and I have been trying to get my mother to move to Virginia. And she didn't want to give up her independence, and she didn't want to give up her home. She just didn't want to give up what was her norm. I called her like a day later after talking to my husband and processing what I saw and going through the emotions. And I just told her that I was coming to get her. It went just like that. Mama, I'm coming to get you. You can't stay by yourself anymore. And surprisingly so, this was the first time my mother didn't fight, didn't argue. She just said, okay. She actually said, I was wondering when you was gonna come and get me. At the time when she made that statement to me, I don't think I had any emotions. I just knew that I had to come and get her. I didn't think about, her passing or her leaving. I just felt like, wow, she's not fighting, so this is a good thing. And with her not fighting, it would be easier for me to care for her. Prior to that, everything was no, no, no. She was compliant to some things, but some things she just wasn't. And it made it harder for me because instead of me trying to assist her only, I was fighting with her. So the fighting with her was challenging because it frustrated me, because I was like, I'm fighting with you to save your life. Why are you going against me? Why are you doing this? But I kept on fighting with her and kept pulling. So it was a little confusing for me to hear her say that, but it still didn't click to me that she just didn't have the fight in her. So the person that I am, I often, when trauma or something bad or something looks bad is happening, I immediately go into like a fight phase. It sounds so familiar, but that's just what I do. So I didn't have any emotions on her per se, giving into what I wanted her to do. I felt like, okay, this is a difference, but I was okay with her giving into it. I didn't feel, I just directly went into what was next. So at the time, I didn't have any emotions about having to care for her. I just felt like she was just being really compliant because they say once a man, twice a child. So my emotions didn't show at the time because I was so busy taking care of her and trying to get her back to Virginia so that I can properly put everything in place to move forward. When I first got my mother back to Virginia, just talk about the flight alone. My mom was very quiet. She really didn't have much to say. She only spoke to me when I talked to her or, I brought up a conversation. So I started to notice something was bothering her, but I didn't know what. Bringing her back to Virginia and getting her situated and being around her grandkids and my husband and the dogs, it was like, I can really say you can tell it was a honeymoon phase if I think back to it now. She was very happy, for the first week or two, the fight was back in her. She was compliant with me, but it looked like she was having reason to live more as opposed to what I saw on the camera. It took a little bit of time for her to take the help and the assistance that was given to her because it was like she didn't want to bother anyone. She didn't want to do too much. She would always say to me, oh, wait, I'll wait till when you come back from the gym. or when you get back, oh, did you eat first? I'm okay, so she was trying to adjust and adapt to, us taking care of her. So it took a little bit, maybe about a few days, I would say like a week or two, for her to understand that it is time for us to take care of you. My mother smiled in Virginia most times when I walked into her room in the mornings. Sometimes when I walked in there, especially after the gym, because I leave for the gym real early in the morning. So I would go and check on her, see if she needed to use the restroom or anything. And she would say, wait till you come back from the gym. But when I came back from the gym and the sunlight was out and I walked in, she would just always smile at me. How was your gym? Is what she would say. That was most of her smiles in the morning. And she was just always very happy to see me. What made me laugh a lot about my mom during the time of her being in Virginia is her talking about the dogs. She would just always have something to say about the dogs. It was funny because when she first started coming to Virginia, she liked the dogs, but she didn't want them jumping up on her or jumping on her bed or anything like that. But eventually she would start to talk about the dogs as if they were like human. And she would have a whole description of something that they did for the day or during the time or when we were gone or how happy they were when they saw my husband come in. Those were the things that would really, I seen that she found a lot of joy in them, towards her time coming back in Virginia. My mother loved her grandkids. She loved all of her grandkids. My kids, when my mother came back, the beginning stages of her being there, everyone was just happy to have her there. They were catering to her. She loved all that. She still would give them talks when needed, each and every one of them based on them individually. She had no problem letting them know what they need to be doing, how they need to act, how they need to respond. She still continued to talk to them about life and life expectancies and respecting their mother and their family and everyone else. Her interaction was pretty much the same. It was pretty much the same, but individually, she had conversations with them based on their personality and who they were and who they are as well. I realized that my mom started to decline. I want to say not decline, but just started to stop. Her willingness just wasn't there anymore. As much as she enjoyed us taking care of her and doing for her, there was something inside of her that still felt like she didn't want to be a bother. She wanted us to live our lives and not be a burden. She never said that, but because of her independence and who she is, she just started to show that. So what I noticed with her is she would say no to certain things. She didn't want to eat as much as she wanted to. She would eat less and less. Her requests became less. Just certain things that that would be a norm, like even something as simple as using a restroom. It seemed like everything became less. It started with that first. Her independent, the part of her no longer being able to be independent, and us, she realized that we had to do certain things is because she couldn't. That's when I realized something was changing. She no longer wanted us to do as much as we did. She would allow it, but she didn't really want it. It started to bother me. I kept sending her reminders and telling her and, coaching her and talking to her and letting her know it's okay. You took care of me. I'm here to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. We enjoy it. It's okay. It's fine. Even when it was hard, and there were some hard times, I had to physically shower my mom and, see her, how much she had deteriorated. And, it just seemed like her skin, everything, she just became like a baby again, very fragile. So it was hard, but I just try to keep reassuring her that, I'm going to be here. I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. You're not bothering me. You took care of me. You've done everything in your life for me. So it's my turn to take care of you. I one day will need someone to take care of me as well. So days leading up to my mom passing, a week prior to, I had certain feelings within myself. I can honestly say the feelings that I had, I'm still working on describing them. But I felt something was wrong. I just didn't feel like she was going to pass. The week before, my mom had a great week. She sat up in the bed. She was feeding herself. She requested certain things. She asked to speak to her siblings. She asked to speak to my dad. She wasn't making any phone calls anymore, but I just walked into the room one day and it was just like, I need you to call this person, that person, and that person. And I did it for her. I walked into the room another day. I'm gonna need you to make this for me. Can you go get it for me? I'm like, sure. Whatever it is you want. She laughed, she talked, she sat up. Everything was good. Everyone in the family was like, wow, this is a good week, or this is a good day. The week of my mom passing, which was my mom passed on a Friday, that Monday, I realized my mom started to get a little bit frustrated and upset. She would say she was in pain, but she wouldn't really cry out for pain. So we was giving her pain medication. 2 weeks prior or 3 weeks prior, I started hospice. I was never a fan of hospice because I was ignorant to it. And based on anytime I heard hospice, it was just like final. And I reached out to them because I needed some support. I realized that I didn't really have a specific doctor to take my mother to in Virginia because the doctor had already stated that there wasn't nothing that could be done. And pretty much, to be honest, to take it back in January, the doctor had told me to begin to look for comfort care. Didn't mean that she was going to pass, but they just wanted me to have services wrapped around her for comfort. So 3 weeks prior, I put her into hospice, and they came out, and they were absolutely amazing. I spoke to a social worker who, I wouldn't say convinced me, but talked to me about pre-planning. I didn't understand the importance of that, and I didn't want to jinx it, but I went ahead and did it that week that she had that great week. Because for me, that was a good time for me to do that because I didn't feel as guilty and as bad planning it because I felt like she was doing really well. So that Monday before she passed, it was like weird. She started to get a little upset. She started to talk more about pain, and the pain became really severe, where they were giving her some slight medication. I didn't really want to even think about morphine yet because I've heard so many disturbing stories about it. And talking to the nurse, and the nurse coming out and checking my mother. Medically, what she saw and what she observed, it wasn't looking good. But I was like, she's in pain. We'll get her some pain medication, soothe the pain, and get her back to herself once she's out of pain. The pain got worse, and we had to incorporate the morphine. From that Monday of her being upset and still talking, and she just was just saying a lot of things. From Monday to Wednesday, I just noticed her becoming like very upset. Even though the morphine was in her system, it wasn't as much as they requested because I didn't want her to just sleep. It was confusing. So I didn't want her in pain, but I didn't want her to just sleep. I wanted her to recognize that we were there, that we love her. And once she gets past the pain, things was going to get normal without me verbalizing that and saying that. That Wednesday, I remember my husband assisting her that morning and putting her on the commode. And that was a request that she made. Like, she didn't want me to lift her. She didn't want anyone to lift her. She requested for my husband to do it. And after that Wednesday, I noticed that was her last request. Thursday came along. She thought the medication, we had to up it more, according to the nurse's, suggestion. And then also with my mother being in severe pain, I realized I left that morning and I went to the gym, and I realized that my mother did not request to use the bathroom anymore. She didn't have on any adult protective, diapers. She didn't have on any of that. And while I was in the gym, it clicked to me like, she hasn't used the restroom. Something is wrong. So I came home, and at the time my son and my sister was in the room, and it was maybe about 8 a.m. when I had got home. And my mom looked at me, and I can't explain the look, but it was a look like, I can't live like this. And I was like, Mama, what's going on? Do you need to use the bathroom? But her eyes was open. She still can talk, but she just didn't respond to me. So I began to turn her, and she was screaming for pain. But when I turned her, I realized she was soaking wet. How could we have not seen that? But because of how she was laying and her position, no one noticed it. So I began, through her screams and yelling, to dictate to my sister and my son, you guys hold her, I'm gonna do this. And prompting and talking to her while she was screaming for pain and saying, let's leave me alone, just let me be. And I was just telling her, I can't leave you like this. I have to take care of you. You wouldn't leave me like this. And it took about maybe 15 to 20 minutes because my family, they were very emotional. For some reason, I didn't have any emotions. I was just talking to her. And she was fighting and she was scratching me. And I just continued to take care of her, tell her how much I love her, how much I care for her. And once we got her back to her comfortable position, I looked at her and I said, you're going to be okay. She never responded to me and she didn't say anything to me, but she just kept her hands clenched and, closed her eyes as if to tell me, okay, you can go now. The day progressed and it went on. She didn't call out for pain as much, but she became really tired, really drowsy and tired. For a few days, I knew I had to have a conversation with my mom, letting her know that I'm okay if she doesn't want to fight anymore. I really didn't want to have the conversation, but something kept telling me that I did need to have it. So that afternoon, I said I was going to go out and have some dinner by myself. And before I left, I had a conversation with her. And I told her that I just didn't want her to fight and be in pain anymore. And that I will carry her flag for her. I really didn't mean that, because if I knew what I said would allow her the peace to go, I probably wouldn't have said it. But it was just something that I said. I just went ahead and did it. It was just something that felt like it needed to be said to her. At the time, she wasn't talking anymore. That was the same day she had stopped talking, and her breathing became heavy, and she was fighting and gasping for air. I wouldn't say fighting. What it looked like, what I was told when the nurse came, it looked like to us that she was fighting, but she wasn't in pain. But the breathing became very unbearable for us to watch. That night when I returned, the breathing was still the same, and I wound up the nurse had told me that some of the cause of the breathing is a little bit of agitation because she's, taking these long, deep in and out breaths. So they had ordered a medication for anxiety because she may appear to have been anxious, which would be coming in that Friday. So that night, we were all in a room, and I was sitting in a chair with her and talking, and my husband came in. And I can't describe it again. My husband said, "Hi, Ma," and he looked over at me. But the look that he gave me, it didn't, I can't describe it, but I knew that it wasn't good, what he saw. So he left out of the room and went to do whatever he was doing. And I couldn't take how she was breathing. I just jumped into the bed with her and just started hugging her, trying to nurture her to see, because they told me that it probably was anxiety, see if her feeling me next to her or holding her or touching her would calm her down, just letting her know I'm here, we all are here, because it's obvious, no matter how much we spoke, she just wasn't talking, but she was still breathing. one of the things that bothers me up until today is with me laying in there in the bed with her, hugging her, small twin bed. I was just wrapped all around her. I could remember her saying, Mama. Now, we call my mother Mama, and she called her mother Mama. And it took so much out of her to say Mama. And I remember my husband saying, no, Ma, that's Georgiana. Georgiana is with you. But when I looked around, I remember people saying that when someone is passing, their loved ones come. And my grandmother, obviously had passed. And I was really angry. I was really angry that my grandmother had showed up because my mother saw her. And it really bothered, even till today, I'm still upset. I want to say it might sound bad to say that I'm upset with my grandmother, but that was my mother's mother, and here it is. This is my mother. But I'm getting to a place of understanding that as a mother, you don't want to see your kids suffer. And I think that my mother was going through, maybe she wasn't suffering, but it was her time. So I understood. Now I'm understanding somewhat. Sometimes I get mad again. But so the night fell. My son and my sister stayed in the room with her. I laid down and for a little bit. I don't know if I was sleeping. I can't say if I ever went to sleep. But I do recall my sister coming in the room a little bit after 2 a.m. saying, you gotta come. When I looked at her, I said to her, okay, I'm gonna use the bathroom. Don't ask me why. I just said I have to use the bathroom. Did I know my mother was gone? I'm not sure. But I knew the look that she gave me, it wasn't good. My husband got to the room before me. I got to the room. And we couldn't say if she was gone or not. Everyone checked her pulse, but at the time, she was really warm. So I think that no one wanted to say it. No one knew how to say it. No one wanted to say it. No one wanted it. I contacted the hospice nurse and they sent them over. She came over in about maybe 30 minutes. My mom was still very warm. I went in there, rubbed her, talked to her, and I was very calm. And the nurse came, and the nurse checked her for 2 minutes, and the nurse stated that my mom had went home. When you have hospice, everything is set up through them, so they made the calls. They asked us how much time we would need before the funeral home had came, and they came in about an hour and a half. I went back in the room, took my mom's socks off, rubbed her, kissed her, and talked to her. And that's how that went. After my mom's passing, that Friday morning, it didn't still really feel real yet, because I was in the process, and we were in the process of moving. So when we decided for my mom to come to Virginia, we decided that we wanted to get a bigger home to accommodate her, to just make sure that she had everything that she needed, her own bathroom, her own area, just everything just for her, pretty much a mother-in-law suite. So during that time, we found somewhere and we were moving. We were actually going to be closing on the 27th. My mom passed the 24th. So right after that, that morning, I laid down for a little while, cried a lot, laid down, woke up. I don't know if I slept, but I'll say I woke up, and the morning came really fast. Everything just started moving fast. And of course, I got a lot of phone calls, a lot of messages. I informed everyone that my mom had passed, either via social media, text, calls. So that was happening throughout that time. And we were still in the process of moving. The only room that was still intact was my mother's at the time, because she was actually supposed to be going to like what they call a respite place while we moved everything out. So she was supposed to be going that Saturday and then returning that Tuesday to her new home and her new placement. With that, I didn't have as much to do as far as funeral arrangements itself, because prior to that, a few weeks prior to, I had already did all of that, but I had to come in and pretty much put everything together now. My husband and I began to do things like start to look for her clothing and what was the next steps and shoes and things like that, while still moving, because we needed to be out of my house by that Monday. As a business person, I understand that life just doesn't stop because you are grieving and mourning. My house was actually sold, and the new owners were coming that Monday. For me personally, I wanted everything to stop, but I think that if everything had stopped, I probably would have still been at the bedside with my mother. Of course, she wouldn't have been there, but I would have still been at that bedside. So everything just started to happen rapidly. Funeral arrangements, making calls, sending out information for everyone of the funeral, when it was going to be, where it was going to be, just getting things in order and moving at the same time, which wasn't easy, but I'm kind of glad that it was happening, because I didn't really have time to sit. All I had to do was move and make sure things was in order. It's not that I didn't want help. I've always been the person to do everything for my mom. So there was certain things that I felt like I just had to continue to do in order for it to be done, because that was just my norm. But the help was coming. I will say that, and it was offered to me. So the day before the funeral, we were called and asked if we wanted to come in to do a viewing of my mother, to see if everything was to my satisfaction, and of course the family. That was Friday. I don't know how I felt about going, but I knew it had to be done. I went along with my husband. Of course, it was hard. It was still unbelievable. But I was okay with how she looked and how she was presented and dressed. I never really prepared for the funeral. I didn't know how to. I just knew that I had to be there. I didn't know how to prepare my day, my night. I went for a walk. I didn't have any thoughts of what I was going to feel or how I was going to feel. I just know that I needed to be there. The day of my mother's funeral was so challenging for me, because even though I planned and I prepared everything, I just wanted for everyone else to be okay. I never thought about my feelings or how I would feel. I think for me, I wish the funeral was further away, because I knew that those was going to be my last moments. So I didn't look forward to it. You know, the further away it was the best. I don't remember a lot about the funeral aside from getting there and then leaving. It was one of the hardest days of my life to prepare for, because I didn't know how to prepare. And it was one of the hardest days of my life to end, because I didn't want it to end. The hardest part of my mother's funeral that I do recall was the release of the doves. The release of the doves, I thought, was going to give me some peace, but it really broke my heart. If I can tell you my thought process of it at the time, it was someone flying away and saying that I'm leaving and you're going to have to figure this thing out. My mother taught me everything that I know. My mother has taught me and more, and some of the things that I didn't want to know. But she never said to me, this is how it's going to be when I'm gone. She just never taught me how to live life without her. She fussed at me, she argued with me, she did everything with me, she laughed with me, she smiled with me, she provided for me, but she never said that leaving me would feel like this. So seeing the doves fly away, knowing that there was nothing I can do to get back that dove, was like a symbol of my mom leaving. But the night that she left, she still didn't say she was leaving. The doves leaving, flying away, didn't show that she could come back. So it just left me in a place where I don't know what's next as far as being without her. I think that my way of coping, to be honest with you, on a day-to-day basis is just going with whatever emotion that I'm feeling at that time. Sometimes it's waves and it'll just come out of nowhere. It could be a song, it could be a moment, it could be a thought. I also hold on to one of the things that I remember during my mother's funeral, with so many people being around me, comforting me. I just remember the words of my husband saying, like, I can't do this without you, please don't leave me. And when I think about what he said, I don't think it was just leaving him physically. It was just leaving mentally and emotionally. So I try to keep it together and hold it together, because I know that's what my mom would want. But I also know that there's a lot of other people that's depending on me and that needs me as well. And I don't want to get too far lost in my emotions that I forget the love that does surround me. It's really important for me to uphold some type of dignity, thought process, and love that my mother instilled in me. It's really important for me to continue that. But I also want people to understand the other side of Self and Georgiana and this business person and this entrepreneur. I don't have an answer to my feelings and my day-to-day feelings. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to say when I'm asked, am I okay? I don't know how to say, yes, I'm okay. Because I don't think that my life will ever be the same again. I don't think that I'll ever be okay with being without my mom. But what I can say is I want people to understand that this is reality. This is my reality. I'm still going to support, assist, and do all that I can, but I am carrying a very heavy heart. Another thing that I like to add is just respecting the time and space of someone who is grieving. Don't take it personal if the person was always around you, amongst you, doing certain things, and now they don't know how to or they don't want to. If I be honest with you, it's easier for me to be away from the people that I love and care for the most right now, because I don't want to burden them with my sadness. And I understand that people care about me and they want to be there for me. But I think respecting someone's time and understanding it and not taking it personal, because you'd be surprised in the time of grief how much people may take personal. It's not personal. For me, I can say I'm just trying to navigate through life. And I don't always want for it to be a morbid moment. I try my best on a day-to-day basis. I still laugh at times and I cry at times. I still listen to some music. I still listen to music. I still go to the gym. I still do things that I try to be fun. But sometimes my wave will come. And I don't want to hit anyone with my wave, because now you will have to, or you will feel like you have to assist me and support me. I'm trying to figure things out on my own. So just respecting someone's time and space and not taking it personal is just really important. I do want to encourage people to, for one, understand time. Time is not promised. I thought I had time and I didn't. So understand time. When it comes to your loved ones, I am a firm believer that you have to find and make the time for peace within yourself. Even if that looks like you and a loved one, especially your parents, may not be in a good place or whatever it is, but you want to find that time and make that peace for yourself and for them. You also want to be very, very cognitive of your loved ones, especially your parents' affairs. If you're that kid like I was, who had to be in charge of everything, the person passes, but their affairs don't. And regarding to my mom was someone who didn't play about her business, her bills. She didn't want to leave anything unpaid and undone. And it's important that when your parents get older, and if they trust you or entrust you, to make sure that certain things are done, because I still have to make sure certain affairs are taken care of while I grieve. But if you can make certain arrangements prior to, depending on your beliefs, if you don't think that it's the right thing to do, or you don't want to do it, or you don't feel comfortable, it's fine. But just know that the inevitable will happen. I encourage people to understand that life is not promised to us. Tomorrow isn't promised to us. My heart of heart, I would like to leave you guys with, you may never get over the death or the loss of your parent or loved one. You will just learn how to live with that now. It is a new way of living. I now have to live with the passing of my mom. I have to now learn how to live with that. I will never get over losing my mom. I don't want to get over it, but I do know that I have to learn how to live with it.